Hey folks, Machinery Pete here at Wisconsin Farm Tech Days, just south of Eau Claire, and pleased to come hang out with Michael Meyerhofer with ADS, Advanced Drainage Systems. Michael, thanks for having me out.
Nope, appreciate you coming.
And you guys are busy with ADS, right in the sweet spot. I mean, water management, and what is your new tagline with ADS, by the way? It's
Our reason is water.
a reason.
Yep.
is
So
water.
it's the most precious resource we have. So we just actually went through a rebranding, and that's what we came up with is our reason is water.
ADSpipe.com.
ADSpipe.com.
Great website, people. Check it out. I know you've been there, but again, ADS is really on it. Now, Michael, I'm just guessing here, things strictly on the ag side of your ADS does worldwide,
Yeah.
all industries, but on the ag side, it must have been rocking here the last year and a half or so.
Yeah, so it's been going very well. A lot of that is due to the market conditions, commodity prices going up and stuff. But I think a lot of it is also people are now figuring out that drainage is paying for itself whether you have it or not. So why not start investing your money into drainage? Because those that just got into it, they're now looking back and saying, why didn't I do this 5 years ago? I would have paid for myself by that. So actually, since like 2019, the ag side of ADS, I believe, is about up 57%. So doing very healthy. Some of that's, like I said, market conditions. Some of it's also market share. Doing a lot of things on the product quality side and innovation. So people are starting to see that going to ADS.
Well, Michael, we were visiting before we started recording here, and before COVID, when I would go around to farm shows, I just talked with farmers, maybe at an auction. It seemed like when dollars were tight, from an ROI perspective, they were leaning in two areas. I could see one, precision, leaning in there, but then also drainage to make it better. So, did you see a lot of that over the last 5-6 years? I mean, and then the market kind of unleashed now with.
Yeah, so I mean, naturally, if they don't have the funds, they're not going to pay for anything. But like I said, before COVID, when commodity prices were a little bit lower, there might have been a 5 to 7 year ROI. Now it's closer to 3 to 5 years. So people are starting to see that. They're investing money. Like I said, they're either paying for it whether they have it or they don't have it. And if they don't have it and they get a heavy rain event, that area floods out. So all their inputs, seed, fertilizer, chemical, that just went away. So once you start creating, I guess my way of thinking about drainage is think of your soil as a sponge. So once you have drainage underground, that soil is just acting like a sponge. You get a heavy rain event, it's like you squeeze that sponge. When, through the fallow season, the open sponge back up. So, all those things go into play, and, more consistent stand, all those things that people are starting to see, like, why am I not investing in drainage? So that's why we're starting to see that demand tick up.
Again, I'm no climatologist by any means, but it sure seems like the rains we get are tending to be more intense.
Yeah, and they're happening in early summer and fall when you're wanting to harvest. So, drainage, one thing you can do, like for the summer months, you can incorporate water management systems. So whether that's water control structures, water recycling, drainage water management, all those things that you can get rid of that water when you need to in the spring, hold it back in the summer, and then get rid of it in the fall so you can actually go and harvest.
Michael, I got to ask you, I noticed with ADS, you guys are doing something pretty cool on the educational side.
Yeah.
For farmers who want to, buy the product and do the work themselves.
Yep.
You guys have some partner with some cool social media folks, kind of how to. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so due to COVID and not being able to go to farm shows, we actually partnered up with SoilMax on a few things. So the first one was with Iowan Farmer, and then we did one with Brian's Farming Videos. Outside of that, we did some educational webinars just throughout COVID because we said, hey, if you can't go to, let's say, Louisville Farm Show, join our webinar, and we're going to educate you on about ADS, about SoilMax plows, about drainage as a whole. So, and then we're thinking about morphing that into like a DIY drainage. I bought the machine, whether it's a pull-type plow or just a self-contained unit. Now what do I do? And that's what we're really
How to on YouTube is it? My iPhone wasn't working last week. I was stuck. I YouTubed it, fixed it. So man, drainage. I love what you guys are doing. And again, Iowan Farmer.
Yep, so we did one with Iowan Farmer and Brian's Farming Videos.
Okay, check them out, folks. Very high quality, good videos. I'm sure you've been watching them. Check out those drainage videos. Now, Michael, got to ask you this again with the pandemic the last year and a half. What was that like for ADS working through that?
Yeah, so our plant staff still had to go to work. We had to do a few things, to make sure they weren't, within 6 feet of each other working throughout the plant. But we still made manufactured pipe throughout. Sales team kind of got pulled back, and the corporate world had to kind of go work from home, customer service, those things. But overall, I mean, our sales kind of kept going up. We showed, we just had to innovative how we managed through that. But overall, as you know, ag still has to keep going. Farming's still going to happen.
There's no off switch, is there?
No, there isn't. So, there's still the demand, so we just had to work through it.
So how about, we talk product now, pre-pandemic cycle, I suppose it's kind of same contractors would call you guys and expect the product in a couple of days.
Yep.
You guys get it to them. Has it been like what we're hearing with all the other industries?
Yeah, so it is, but I think we're managing through that. I guess my advice to anybody is, just forward forecasts. So whether you're used to getting something in 3 days, just start getting a hold of your local rep and your contract. If you're a farmer, and get a hold of your contractor and do things, now for what you're going to be doing for the fall, and not just for this year. Take that mentality and keep doing that in the future. And I would say if you're a farmer and you're not doing drainage and you're going to hire somebody to do it, kind of work out a 5-year plan with them and say, I want X amount of acres done each year, and then they can do their design work so we know what pipe's going to be used, what diameters, so then they can get with ADS and say, hey, this is what I'm going to be using this fall. And that way we can, work out the logistics side, all these things to make sure you do get product in a timely manner.
So on the topic of forward planning, on the machinery side, we're seeing values go up, and looking ahead to the end of the year, historically a very active buying season. Boy, I would think for all the people who've been considering drainage projects, they might want to act now.
Yeah, and I'm no accountant, but I believe if you pay for it, you can take it. So I would start talking to landlords, tenants, those things, and try to figure out, okay, what am I going to need before the end of the year so you can get it purchased and shipped to you. So
a little bit of, not to get into politics, but it feels like our tax rates might be going up next year, so a lot of planning going into that.
The nice thing about ADS is that we have approximately 60 manufacturing facilities throughout the United States, so we can get your product in a timely manner. I mean, we're always, purchasing more vehicles for the logistics side, so, we know farming and drainage is a tight window to get things done especially before winter really freezes you out. So we're going to do everything we can, and we have the employees or the capabilities of doing so.
Okay. And now, to loop back to those how-to videos, what kind of feedback are you guys getting on those? Kind of do-it-yourself type?
Yeah, so it's actually really good. So a lot of it is, I bought the machine, even if it's a planter, not what do I do with it now? Right. So on the drainage side, it's okay. I bought a plow. How do I put pipe in there? And that's why we kind of grabbed the bull by the horns and said, let's teach you how, because you're putting it underground, you're never going to see it again. So we have to make sure you're doing it correctly. And that's why, ADS, we want to make sure our product's being used correctly. So we did I believe it was an hour to an hour and a half webinar. Went over very well. At the end, there was questions, what perforations should we use in this type of soil type and stuff. But, overall, drainage is somewhat simple to do. I mean, you put it in and it starts working for you, but you have to put it in correctly. So that's why we did work with SoilMax and said, hey, let's talk to them about spacing. Let's talk to them about why you should do certain things to your grade and those kinds of things, because that's what's really going to change your yield from a 10% bump to possibly a 30% bump, based on intensity of drainage, those kinds of things.
How about, Michael, when we talk product with pipe in the drainage field here, what's new with ADS? What's been hot? Different here? What did you guys see?
Yep. So I'm going to take it back a little bit further.
Okay.
So ADS started in '66, and then we were the first ones to actually bring the plastic tubing into the United States. So we first started selling product at 10-foot, 20-foot sticks of 4-inch, let's say. Then we went to 100-foot coils. Then we went to something like this. It's a 3,200-foot 4-inch maxi. So that went from, they used to do things by clay or concrete, and now we're at this. So where do we go from here is now we're producing something called N12 Flex. So it's 8-inch up to 15-inch diameter, and it's taking this, maxi coil, something that's flexible, and taking our properties of N12 or dual wall, so a smooth interliner, and putting that into a roll that's manageable and easy to install. So that's one of our newer ones. We did lift stations a few years back, so if you live in an area that the topography is not working very well for you, or you can't drain right into a ditch, we have lift stations that are available now. We have a bunch of different ancillary products like an Certa-T, which is a used to be a sanitary and storm connection.
Yep.
We're seeing those in bigger ag mains and stuff that, you know, ease of installation. So we're always forward thinking and trying to figure out, okay, what's going to save you time in the field, because your time is precious.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael, but you know, again, you guys are involved with, you know, drainage worldwide industries.
Yeah.
So that level of expertise and the things you see and develop, ag benefits from that, must benefit from that.
Yeah, so that is the nice thing about ADS. So our commercial side, residential side, you know, there's needs over there too. And a lot of those things we can migrate into ag. One that comes to mind is our polypropylene pipe. It's called HP Storm. It's made out of polypropylene versus high density polyethylene. What that means for you is it's essentially 2 times as strong as regular black dual wall. So we can go deeper or shallower barrel depths for that. Really big in like Iowa, portions of Minnesota for ag mains. So that was a commercial product that morphed into ag because there was a need for it over there. So I keep thinking those things are going to happen in the future for ADS as well. You know, we have a whole R&D team that's looking at, okay, what's needed in ADS, drainage, and you know, a lot of those things are going to morph into ag.
Again, looking beyond what's right in front of us to what's needed in the future.
Yeah, and a lot of that goes to, you know, your water quality. You know, we have a water quality department of ADS. You know, we're trying to think of ways of, you know, making sure phosphates, nitrates, all those things that, you know, the world's looking at right now, that we can combat that and water management system. So we're not trying to just get rid of water. We're trying to manage that water for you. So
Our reason is water.
our reason is water.
Love that. And one thing I'm just continually fascinated about ADS folks is that, Michael, you guys, when it comes to recycling as a company, are you the world's
Yep. So
largest?
we're the second
Second
largest in North America.
In North America.
So I don't have the up-to-date figures, but it used to equate to about 600 million pounds of plastic kept out of a landfill annually. So that's something I hang my hat on. I mean, I've got 2 young kids at home, and I tell them all the time, like, hey, make sure you recycle that. That could be going into a plastic product, whether it's ours or somebody else's. But the big thing we think about when we talk about sustainability and, you know, plastic in general is, I believe it's 56% water is used less when you're doing recycled material versus virgin material, and 88% less energy is needed to produce the same product. So that's something I'm very proud of that, you know, ADS is doing. That division of ADS was Greenline Polymer. So we have our own manufacturing facility or recycling facilities for post-industrial and post-consumer.
I love it, Michael. Hearing that story. For any of you young people watching out there, you're thinking about what could be a fun career or company to work for, check out ADS, adspipe.com,
Yep.
making the world a better place with great products, helping our farmers. Michael, thank you for the update. Exciting stuff you guys have
Yeah,
going on.
and like I said, we're always interested in talking to people out there on drainage, whether you're in California or all the way to the East Coast. So give us a call, and you know, if you're one that's out there and doesn't believe drainage is going to work underground, I guess I'm here to prove you wrong.
And that's a good point, Michael. You sit down with farmers and do kind of walk through the ROI with them.
Yeah, so we will. I mean, if somebody's on the fence of if it's going to pay for itself, I mean, we'll definitely sit down with you and prove to you of, hey, this is real world application. This is, you know, what you're going to do underground, commodity prices, you know, and definitely interested in having those conversations for you. So
It's all about ROI, folks. Check out adspipe.com. And again, those how-to YouTube videos for farmers, that's Iowan Farmer.
Yep, so we've worked with Iowan Farmer and Brian's Farming Videos.
Brian's Farming
I'm sure that
Videos.
there's more out there, but that's who we would work with so far.
Well, Michael Meyerhofer, thank you for the info
Thank
on
you.
ADS.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.
Best way I've seen to fix faded paint? Dakota Shine. Order online at dakotashine.com or visit your regional farm stores to pick up your Dakota Shine today.